Hello there guys and welcome back to once again another live stream here on the Speed Force Racing YouTube channel. Today we will be racing around the beautiful China, the Shanghai International Circuit. If I'm not mistaken, we are currently racing in Division 2. It is round 16 of season 15. We've been already here a couple of times during the last couple of years, as this is of course season 15 and these guys have been racing for a long time together with each other already. And they're doing the complete calendar, of course, so that means they've been racing around China for 15 seasons straight. Well, of course, that depends on whether the game allowed them to use China, of course. We know that China wasn't always used over the last couple of years, so yeah, that is something you do and need to think of. We're currently on board with Keeves, as the Alpine driver didn't really do a great job last week, as we had round 15 around. Let me have a quick look what round we had last week. So it was around Imola, of course, and he didn't do very great. I think he crashed out once or twice, so he really needs to watch out with that. Today we are going to be racing around China. Might possibly be a good track for many of these guys, or might possibly be a very bad track. That depends on your race style and your driving style, of course, Keeves. Let's pass a couple of guys there. I think that is one of the new guys, Srivatsa, currently in P6. The McLaren driver is going to be teamed up with Ellie, a very familiar face here in Speed Force Racing, of course. Currently in P9 on an outlap, as nobody has come across the line yet. So we're going to be having 20 drivers on the grid today, which is obviously great for the league, as they're thinking about a third division. And this is obviously going to give them a little bit of a boost, looking for those extra members. And it's always a great thing when you're having 20 people in the lobby. That means that everybody is attending the races, and that also means that there are some big plans coming up for that third division. You might want to go on board with the first driver coming across the line. That is an AlphaTauri, and the AlphaTauris are all the way at the bottom here. And that is not Energy Dan, that is a Mindful Wasp heading into turn 1. A very long right-hander. Then we've got turn 2 being a slow left-hander. Although, can you count this as a corner? I'm not sure. This will probably be turn 2. Then we've got turn 3 coming right up. Turn 4 and 5. This is, of course, turn 4. A little bit of a bend to the right. And then we've got turn 5, hard braking zone, a U-turn or a hair clip, however you want to call it. Got the fastest first sector already. Then we've got a fast left-hander, which is turn 6. Turn 7 coming right up into the right-hander. And then we've got turn 8 and 9. Two difficult corners. You really need to touch the brakes quite heavily to be able to make this corner work. Then we've got turn 9. Turn 10 coming right up as we're entering sector 3 at the moment. Hard braking zone, 90 degrees to your left. And then we've got turn 11 being a very long right-hander. A very difficult one when the guys are struggling on the tires. With tire overheating, you might be losing a bit of traction and you might end up in the wall or in the grass. And we've got one of the longest straights here on the F1 calendar, being here in China, Shanghai. And we're heading into turn 12, 13, and 13 is going to be the last corner here around China. This is turn 12, of course, also a very slow corner, a very slow right-hander, a little bit of a U-turn, and then we're heading into that fast left-hander, which is turn 13. Don't take too much curb on the exit, because you can invalidate your time. Mindful Wasp coming across the line to put 132.1 as the Englishman puts himself on pole for now. Mark Querty already came across the line with a 135.1. That is something we see week in, week out with Mark Querty coming out of the pits, the first driver of everyone. I'm just going to have a quick look with the standings here, as the standings are, I'm not going to say they're not close, but we can definitely see who's probably going to win this championship, who is Calvin Racing. So let me have a quick look. Calvin Racing currently in P1 with 261 points. Then we've got Mansell in P2 with 246 points. And then we've got Keeves in P3 with 228 points. Cassidy right behind Keeves with 224 points, only 4 points short for the podium. Then we've got Mindful Wasp in P5 with a 202 point performance. Many of these guys obviously put in some good times week in, week out during the qualifying, during the race. Sometimes it can be a little bit unlucky, like we saw Mansell, I think it was in Mexico. But he climbed back up during that race, so he got a pretty good result there during the Japanese Grand Prix. Now let's go on board with someone else here at the back of the grid. That is the V-car, currently on a fast lap, entering Sector 2, as it's going to be entering turn 8 and 9. Really need to watch out with the throttle input coming through turn 9. You can easily spin going onto the curb if you go too fast on the throttle, which is obviously not ideal for these guys. Into turn 10, and we've got turn 11. A very difficult one. You really don't want to touch the throttle too soon, because that means you're going to be sliding all over the place. And when you're sliding all over the place through turn 11, you're going to end up in the wall, like I said before. Strategy-wise, we are possibly looking at a soft-medium strategy or a medium-hard strategy. I don't think starting on the hards is a great idea. I had a race here last evening where a lot of guys went from the mediums to the hards or the hards to the mediums. I also saw someone go from a medium to a soft, and it paid off, so he did a great job. The McLaren driver coming into the pits there, that might have hindered the V-car, who puts himself in P6, a surprising P6, right in front of Energy Dan, so he definitely finds the pace here in China, and we saw him last week with a pretty good result throughout the qualifying. I think he managed to get into the top 7, and that is something we haven't seen from the V-car yet over the last couple of weeks and months. So the V-car definitely stepping up his game, as he's currently in P6 in the results here during the qualifying. So many more minutes to come. Cassidy, one of the guys who is going to be able to put himself on pole, and I'm really wondering to see if that is going to be happening. Takes a lot of curb, loses the car a little bit, but controls it quite nicely. Comes across the line with 132.1. And I gotta say something. This guy in P1, I haven't seen him race. Srivatsa, with a 131.4, he's 7/10 faster than Mindful Wasp in P2. And Mindful Wasp and Cassidy are usually the qualifying merchants. As you can see, only 1/1000 away from Mindful Wasp to Cassidy. And then we've got Srivatsa with 7/10 ahead, which is, well, it's a bit too competitive, I think. I don't think he belongs here in Division 2, but, I mean, I guess we'll have to see throughout the race whether he can keep that consistency or that pace throughout the race, of course. We have got Utkar's currently on a fast lap. Welcome, Martin, in the chat. How are you doing, buddy? Utkar's on a fast one. The Williams driver has got a Red Bull driver right up ahead. As he's entering Sector 3. He's got the fastest second sector. Might be up for pole time here, but he does need to improve by quite a bit. I mean, he hasn't set a lap in yet, but I think you really need to drain all of your ERS you've got, and not many people have got enough ERS to use down the straight, because as you can see, Woodcars doesn't have too much ERS left in the tank. Coming into turn 12 at the moment, hard braking zone, don't go too deep coming out of that corner. And it seems like he's doing a great job currently in Sector 3, takes a lot of curb down the inside, and also the exit. Just not bad at all. Here comes Utkarsh with a 131.8, puts himself in P2. And he's the one who's closest to P1 at the moment, with only 4/10 in between those two. There's definitely plenty of time to gain for the rest of the grid. Srivatsa might have put his best lap ever in, but I mean, I guess we don't know that as commentators, do we? Oliver, using a lot of DRS and ERS down the straight. He has a little bit more ERS saved than Utkarsh had before. So that is something that, you know, maybe Utkarsh is using a little bit more ERS down the straights. Of course, the guys cannot choose themselves when they are using ERS. And Oliver puts himself in P2. Keeves comes across the line to put himself in P3. So we're definitely seeing the track getting a little bit faster. And that is mainly because more drivers are racing on the track. So the track heats up. And when the track heats up, the tires are getting faster and you're faster in general. And you're going to be putting better times on the board. Keeves with a P2, P3, my apologies, not bad at all. Alex Hawk, one of those guys who can cause a surprising P10 during the qualifying, but he needs to find a pace. Sometimes he's below a P10, sometimes he's, well, above P10. And I feel like today he's going to be somewhere around P10. So let's say P9, P10, P11. And he's usually comparable with the V-Car's time, as that is a 132.4. So I really wonder what it is going to be for Alex Hawk today, as the Aston Martin driver hasn't really been up there lately. Let's have a quick look with the standings here, as he is currently in P16. His own teammate is behind him in P20. But Alex Hawk in P16 with 97 points in total. He hasn't really been there. A lot of DNFs. Last race he had a DNF2 in Imola in Japan. He got 3 points, so that means he finished in P16 or 17, if I am not mistaken. And then in Brazil he got 9 points. So he's somewhere around that, you know, P15, P16 gap. Puts himself in P11 at the moment. So as I said, he's somewhere around the VCAR space, only 1/10 slower than the VCAR at the moment. There's still plenty of people on track. On a fast one, I think MCFC has invalidated this time, as I think Srivatsa is on a new one, has just overtook the Williams driver, and he's not up on his time, but only 12 thousandths down on his time. As of course, Sector 2 is the sector where you're going to be gaining the most time, as it's a very technical sector. You want to take the lines tight throughout the fast corners, brake as late as you can through turn 9 and 10. Obviously, because turn 10 is a very hard braking zone. And what will it be for Srivatsa? He's not up in his time, 43 a thousand slower. But maybe Sector 3 is the sector where he's going to be gaining a little bit of more time. Which he definitely needs, because the guys are improving quite heavily at the moment. Oliver Keeves, Utgars, I definitely see those guys improve by quite a bit. Mindful Was might be up there, might have not had the best qualifying lap. And Calvin Racing with a surprising P9 at the moment. Not really where he should be, leading the Drivers' Championship, of course. He should be one of the more consistent guys, one of the more faster guys, and that is definitely not reflecting here during this qualifying session. A P9 for the Red Bull driver. And what will Srivatsa do? He's not going to be able to improve, 55,000 slower, but that does mean he has got some consistent pace, and he's able to put the same lap in, lap out, which is obviously lovely to see. Let's go on board with Calvin Racing here. He's up by 6 tenths, so that will put him somewhere around P2 if I'm not mistaken, and he can even gain more time here through Sector 3. What tires will these guys be starting on? Usually here in SFR, we see some different strategies. Guys starting on the softs, guys starting on the mediums, guys starting on the hards. And we don't know whether it's going to be raining or not. So that could be a big factor here too. Calvin Racing puts himself in P2. Not a bad result at all. And that is the pace we want to see from our championship leader. As the Alfa Romeo driver is putting himself right up the inside there. Might be a little bit dangerous though. I think that's not the ideal place to put your car. Ali currently with a 133.7, and we can see the gaps be so close once again. Look at that. Between P6 and P7 we're seeing a 1,000 gap. Mindful Was does improve right now, so that won't be a 1,000 gap anymore. We're seeing a 110 gap between Mansell and MCFC. We're seeing a half a tenth of a gap between MCFC and Tushkern. Also the VCAR, Alex Hawk, Energy Dan, Doran, Mr. Wiggles are all very close to each other. At the back of the grid, we are looking at a very close position between Shaggy and Mad G. And then Ellie hopefully is going to be able to improve. Mindful Was not up in his time. This is just came across the line. Srivatsa coming into the pit, so is Calvin Racing probably, as is letting the Alfa Romeo driver go through. That is the VCAR currently in P11. Up at his time, 25 thousandths here in this qualifying session. As there's still a couple of minutes to go, 3.5 more minutes to go in this qualifying session. And what will the VCAR be able to do? He was improving on his time entering Sector 2. And let's have a quick look what it's going to be entering Sector 3 at the moment. As it'll be an improvement by 2.5 tenths, so that will possibly put him somewhere around the top 8. But I do think Mansell is one of those guys who's going to be able to, you know, magically appear a qualifying, well, a pole time out of his pockets. And here comes the VCAR down the straight. A 132.4 is the time to beat. Well, it's his own time, obviously, so he just needs to improve on that time, and then we know he's got the pace today, he's got the consistency, and hopefully that'll be showing throughout the race. Here we go, the VCAR coming around the last corner. Hopefully it doesn't invalidate. Then he doesn't invalidate. It'll be a 131.9, a P7 for the VCAR. as he's gonna put himself in front of Cassidy, but Cassidy just came across the line with a 5-10 improvement, puts himself right behind his teammate. 2 thousandths in between Cassidy and Calvin Racing. And I think the man to watch is Energy Dan at the moment, although he did invalidate his time. So it won't be an improvement. Dorn hasn't really been up there lately either. So we really want to see some good pace throughout the race from Dorn, because, yeah, I mean, it's a bit unfortunate. Ellie, who just put herself in the top 12 with a 132.5, maybe someone else behind her is going to be able to improve, and that is Alex Hawk, indeed, up by 1.5 tenths here in Sector 1. And currently in Sector 2, really wants to take as much curb up the inside in Turn 8, which he doesn't. Very interestingly enough, it does take a lot of curb down the entry in Turn 9. He's got Turn 10 up ahead, up by 3 tenths. That would possibly put him in the top 10. Just needs to improve by a little bit more on Mansell. Mansell is in an outlap, so we will possibly be seeing Mansell gain a couple of positions throughout this qualifying. Keys just came across the line with a 131.5, as he's the one putting himself closest to Srivatsa in P1. But basically, Srivatsa doesn't really need to push anymore. He's got 1 tenth ahead of P2, and the rest of the guys are quite a couple of tenths behind. Here comes Alex Hawk entering Sector 3. Around the last corner he comes. But what time will it be for Alex Hawk? A 132.0. Does improve by 4 tenths, but it'll only be good for a P11. I'm going to go on board with Udgars. Does not improve on his time. Cassidy might be up on his time. He's not up on his time. Keeps is probably not going to be improving either. Mansell might be the one to watch. He dropped back to P12. Will we see that week in, week out? He gets dropped back to P10, P11, P12, and then we see him improve by a tremendous amount of time. And that'll probably be the same here in the last part of this qualifying session. Plays around with the curbs on the entry. And Ellie retires from the session. That's quite early. Still 2 more minutes on the board, I think. And Cassidy also retires from the session. I think these guys are not able to come into the pits anymore, put on some new rubber and go out again, so they'll have to wait. And Mansell does improve in his time throughout Sector 1, my apologies. Improves by about 2 tenths, so that'll be good for a P10. But preferably needs to improve a little bit more through Sector 2 and Sector 3. Udgars comes out of nowhere to put himself on pole position with a 131.3. And what will Mansell be doing? Because he might be there around that 131.3. He's improving by 5.8 tenths. That'll be good for a top 6 position. And how much tenths will he gain throughout Sector 3? It'll not be too much, as Sector 3 is not very technical sector. I think Sector 1 and Sector 2 is more technical, where you can gain more time. Sector 3 is just a lot of straight line speed. Here comes Oliver with a 131.1. That came out of nowhere, and I didn't think that the Haas driver was going to be putting himself on pole position for today. What will Mansell be doing? It'll not be a pole time, but it'll probably be... Oh, will it be a pole time? It will not be a pole time. It will be a P4 for Mansell. Udgars still on the lap, but I think that is not going to be an improvement. And the only 2 drivers still on the lap are Mark Werty and Mr. Wiggles. Mr. Wiggles is up on his time. That'll be good for a P16 if I'm not mistaken. Down straight he goes, and that'll be P16, possibly. Energy Dan with a disappointing P16 at the moment. Might get dropped back to P17 if Mr. Wiggles improves by a little bit here throughout Sector 3. There's a lot of curb on the exit. What time will it be for Mr. Wiggles? Puts himself in P15, so drops Ellie and Energy Dan 1 position back. And that will be your qualifying here in Speed Force Racing. And we have a 28 lap race to come. Some really quick times there. GG's is what Martin says in the chat. And all props to these guys in the qualifying. We have seen some tremendous amount of improvements from a lot of guys. I mean, Oliver, he wasn't really there last week. Puts himself on in the spotlights today here in Speed Force Racing around China. Also, Srivatsa, we haven't seen him last week. I think he's really stepped up his game. I mean, I don't think he was even there last week. But I mean, he just came out of nowhere, put a really good performance in. And here we have got the results. No! Oh, I thought I lost it. We have got the results for tonight. I need to remove my camera, of course, because otherwise the guys are not able to look at the standings. Here we go. Oliver in P1 puts himself on pole. Udkars with 1.5 tens behind. And then we've got Srivatsa in P3. But we've got Mansell, Keeves, Calvin Racing, Cassidy, Mindful Wasp, the V-Car, and Doran in the top 10. And then we have got Magi, Alex Hawk, MCFC, Tushkern, Mr. Wiggles, Ellie, Energy Dan, Yes, Shaggy, and Mark Worthy all the way at the back of the grid. Quite of a surprising thing to see is that Red Bull is only in P6 and P7, so we might be seeing that consistency come into play throughout the race. And their team plays, of course. We saw Calvin Racing pull a last to first challenge. I think it was in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, where he had a qualifying ban. Hopefully, he's not going to be showing us that kind of pace today, because we want to see something interesting happen and not a last to first challenge, because we have seen that already. We want to see another race winner, a new race winner maybe. And who out of the top 10 hasn't scored a race win yet? Let's have a quick look. Oh, this is really, really... Wait, hold up. Wins, there we go. So Keeves hasn't scored a race win yet. Oh, nice one, Oliver. Haven't you scored a pole yet? Wait, let me have a quick look on that. Oliver... Oh, he hasn't indeed scored a pole yet. Congratulations, Oliver. Congratulations. You've done a great job there. We have got Melissa once again in the chat. Welcome, Melissa. Hope you're having a fine evening. Looks like this is going to be a great race. Come on, Keeves. So we've got the Keeves fan base once again in the live stream. So I'm just going to have a quick look. Who out of the top 10 in the Drivers' Championship doesn't have a race win yet? We have got Energy Dan doesn't have a race win yet, but he's not in the top 10 in the qualifying. We've got Keeves, who hasn't got a race win yet, but he's got 5 podiums in total already, 1 fast lap and 3 poles. So he's definitely up there with the pace, just not the consistency that we need. And we've got the V-Car in P9 in the Drivers' Championship. Who else is there in the top 10? Let me have a quick look. Oh yeah, we've got the new driver, Skravitsa, or whatever his name is, who hasn't scored a race win yet. So it would be a great way to start your Speed Force racing campaign. Going on to, well, winning. Bahrain was my last win. First pole of the season. Have you won a race already, Oliver? I don't think you did. It doesn't show on the... Oh no, you did. It did show on the sheet. I thought it was someone else. No, but it would be a great show from Stravica if he's able to win the race in his first race here in Speed Force Racing. So how do we like the new overlay, guys? Do you prefer this over the last one, or do you still prefer the last one? Because I'm not sure which one to go with. I think I like the fact that the logo is right next to the F1 logo, but I'm not sure if you guys find it disturbing. Is it disturbing? I don't know if that's the word. And then I've made it less busy on screen, and you've got a wider range too. So hopefully that is to your liking, because I heard a couple of complaints about my overlay. Hopefully that is a great change for you guys. Strategy-wise, we're looking at not too many different strategies. Usually we see a couple of different strategies from these guys, but today it is not going to be too different from each other. A lot of guys starting on the hard tires. Might be hoping for a late safety car. We've got the top 7 starting on the hards, a Mindful Wasp on the medium tires. Then we've got the V-Car starting on the hards. The rest of the grid is on mediums or hards. We've got Doran and Magi on the mediums, and also Energy Dan and Mark Qwerty on the mediums. The rest of the guys are on the hard tires. Strategy-wise, I have heard that the medium tires are dying off really, really quickly. So you really need to watch out and try to extend those hard tires, because you won't be lasting, I think... Wait, let me have a quick look. I think someone was on 16 lap old hards yesterday, and they had 80% of tire wear. So, I'm not sure why the game suggests a soft medium strategy, as that it will never well, you'll never pull that off, a soft-medium strategy, or a medium-soft neither, because it's the same tire combination you use. Hard mediums might be the way to go. Medium soft might be the way to go, as I saw someone go on 6-lap-old or 7-lap-old softs yesterday and gain a tremendous amount of positions. As Energy Dan just got disqualified, parked in a wrong location. No, I don't think that was the message. I think he had a collision with someone, but usually when there is a collision, you have 2 drivers getting disqualified from the formation lap. As I might want to have a quick listen to the live stream real quick before we're going underway to see if the quality is alright, because obviously we want great quality for the watchers, great quality for the viewers. So I'm just gonna have a quick listen. Oh, it's not great. It's not great. Hold up, what is this? Alright, doesn't matter. We've got 5 red lights here in Shanghai, China, with the Speed Force Racing leak. And Oliver put himself on pole. We are currently in season 15, round 16. It's 5 red lights, and away we go. A good start from Oliver, but it seems like Utgars can go down the inside. Doesn't have too much room, and I think Oliver is just going to close down that gap. The top 2 has taken a tiny lead already, as Calvin Racing tries to go down the inside here in turn 2. Beautiful overtake, has the outside line at the moment. Calvin Racing, will he be taking P3 from Mansell? Doesn't look like it. Mansell with a little snap loses the position to Calvin Racing. Mindful Wasp on those medium tires has gained a couple of positions already. And what does Matt G do here? How did Matt G get into the top 6? He was all the way at the back of the grid. Let's have a quick look with how many positions he's gained. 5 positions. He was in P11. So these medium tires are definitely doing the job for these guys. Might want to go on board with MCFC. Currently in P9. We've got a feisty battle there between P11 and P10. That is Doran and Cassidy. Doran who's now trying to get past MCFC as soon as possible tire-wise. We're looking at a lot of position changes for the medium tires, which is obviously great. Let's have a quick look with the position changes. MCFC who's also gained 4 positions, and he's on the hard tires, so definitely need to take a quick look into that. Keys, who unfortunately lost 2 positions after a great qualifying session, managed to get into P5 during that qualifying. So you might want to go on board with a Mindful Wasp here. We've got a battle for the lead. That is Utgars and Oliver. Oliver around the outside. I think he has to give up that position. Utgars tried to make the overtake on the Haas driver, but this time around it didn't work. The top 5, top 6 is running away a little bit. It seems like Keys is trying to make the overtake. No, it is messed up again. Hold up. I'm not really able to see what is happening here. Oh, and the AlphaTauri goes onto the grass. Almost takes out the Haas driver. Almost takes out Matt G, but it recovers quite nicely. Mindful Wasp. That was a very, very close one. And his butt cheeks must have been slamming against each other throughout that little experience. Let's go to the back of the grid, as we've got a very close grid here at the back of the grid. I think the Mercedes boys are battling with each other again. Tushkern trying to make the overtake on Shaggy at the moment. Are they working together, or are they battling with each other? They're definitely losing some time to Mr. Wiggles. 7/10 at the moment. Go back to the front of the pack. Srivatsa dropped back to P19. That is something we definitely missed. He's our biggest loser of the evening already. And unfortunately enough, he's going to be dropped back to P19. So lost 16 positions. Isn't great, but might be able to make a comeback race work. Utgars now with a lot of straight line speed. Look at that. Drains all of his zeros down the straight. Makes the overtake down the inside. Oliver not giving up, possibly making a switchback work. Oh, and Oliver goes too much onto the curb. Might possibly be losing a position to his teammate. No, keeps it in P2. Oh, someone is going really wide. That is Calvin Racing. Oh, and he almost takes out the AlphaTauri driver. What is happening there? Calvin Racing with a very dangerous move there. I think he retakes P4, but he has to give that position back to avoid any dangerous driving, and I think he definitely will get a penalty from that. Calvin Racing with a very interesting maneuver coming out of the last corner. Took a very deep line into turn 13. as he did gain 2 positions in total throughout this race. Mindful was with a surprising P5 at the moment. And they're taking a bit of a lead to P6 and the rest of the guys. Mindful was still sticking to the toe of the Red Bull driver. So I think this might be a great opportunity for Mindful Wasp. Calvin Racing goes onto the curb a little bit too much. Loses the car, but no damage has been done. I don't think Mindful Wasp had the opportunity to go around the outside because, I mean, the Red Bull driver parked his car on the line, so he had nowhere to go. And these medium tires are probably already given up throughout this race. So the hard tires are definitely the way to go here throughout this race. So maybe the guys want to go hard, soft, hards? I don't know. I'm thinking of different strategies, different ways. Mindful Wasp just made the overtake on Calvin Racing here down the straight. They're definitely losing some time to the rest of the guys. Are 1.2 seconds behind already. Oliver not able to keep the toe off Utkarsh. Obviously because of that incident earlier where he lost his car coming out of turn 12. Calvin Racing improves by 1.5 seconds on his previous time, on his fastest time already. Almost goes into the back of Mindful Wasp. And the annoying thing throughout turn 1 is that you never know when the guy in front of you is going to brake because everyone has different braking points. You don't know what the right way to go is. Obviously, the F1 drivers will know, but as a league race driver, you never know when a guy in front of you is going to brake. So that's why Calvin Racing has to watch out, being very close to Mindful Wasp into turn 1. Jack Keeves currently in P7. Dropped 2 positions though, but he's still there. He's still up with the top 6. And Maggi, he drops out of the DRS zone of Calvin Racing, so Keeves will possibly be able to make that overtake on the Ferrari driver. He does have to hope that Maggi doesn't drop into the DRS of Calvin Racing. As they're now entering turn 10, almost goes into the back of the Ferrari driver. Really has to watch out. But strategy-wise, these guys will come into the pits around lap 12, I'd say 13 maybe, to go from the mediums to the hard tires. I don't think Maggi has the DRS, so it will be Keeves down the straight. Maybe MCFC can benefit from the DRS 2 on Maggi. I think that will be an opportunity for MCFC. Down the inside he goes, backs out of it. Has become a little smarter. During the beginning of the season, we saw MCFC being a little bit impatient throughout the races, throughout the corners. But now it seems like he's learned his lesson and is definitely growing up, as you can see here on the track. Let's go on board with Mark Quirky, who's right behind Doran. Cannot really keep up with the Alpine driver. Dropped about a tenth or 2 throughout that last sector. Does have the DRS though, and a lot of guys have the DRS. Let's go back to the front of the pack as Mindful Wasp finds himself at the back of that little DRS train. And Oliver did catch up to Utkarsh, which is obviously great. He's going to have the DRS down the straight, and now we might be able to see a 3-way move. I mean, 3 people overtaking Utkarsh down the straight if they can keep it close to Utkarsh, obviously. Oliver needs a little bit more time to catch up to Utkarsh, and we're looking at a very competitive grid at the moment. You're seeing almost everyone being within 1 second of each other. Calvin Racing does need to push a little bit more to get back to that top 4. But apart from that, we are looking at Keeves in P6, Maggi in P7, MCFC in P8, the V-Car in P9, and Cassidy in P10, and Energy Den in P11, all within 1 second of each other. Here they come. Down the straight they go. Oliver, who does have a lot of straight line speed, but I feel like Utkarsh has a really low downforce setup, which makes him very fast down the straights. Oliver not necessarily able to gain too much time down the straight. Keeves is even losing more time. Calvin Racing is having a heated battle. No, it's MCFC and Maggi having a heated battle. Maggi, who does lose a couple of positions right now, drops back to P8. Might want to go on board with Cassidy here at P11. Does have the DRS, but dropped 4 positions throughout the race already. We're currently in lap 6 out of the 28, so still plenty of laps to go. 4 positions is an amazing, I mean, not amazing, but a big number. Qualifying in P7 isn't great, and then we thought we were going to be seeing a consistent race from Cassidy, which he usually shows. A good example is of course Coda. Oh, Okay. Hello, hello? I'm still streaming, huh? How is this even possible? Okay, apparently I'm gone. Let's join again. Interesting. All right, guys. So here we are again. We're going to be racing again. Calvin Racing gains a position on MCFC as they're definitely losing some time. I think something happened between Calvin Racing and MCFC. Doesn't have the pace here around China. And Keeves, who has gained a lot of positions. I think we're seeing a little bit of a glitch happening here. Someone dropped back a lot of positions. I think that must have been Mark Querty, who apparently took the lead of the race, but dropped back to P18. On board with Oliver here. Still sticking to the toe of Utgars, but just doesn't have that pace that he needs throughout Sector 2 to gain a lot of time. Mansell is possibly going to be able to make a move on his own teammate. Down the straight they go. Here comes Mansell. Yes, indeed, he does make a move on his own teammate, so he might get the opportunity to gain some time on Utgars. MCFC now got past Calvin Racing again. Calvin Racing with a possible switchback. To be able to make that work. Doesn't look like it. MCFC is really draining all of the ERS he's got to create a gap between himself and Keeves to hold up Calvin Racing. Calvin Racing who just got past MCFC again with the use of DRS, of course. Let's go back to Mindful Wasp. Currently 3/10s behind Oliver. And I'm not going to say it's a boring race, but we don't see many overtakes here throughout China. And that is an unfortunate thing to see. Oh, Ellie loses the car. Drops back to P16, loses 2 positions underway. And MCFC, once again with a heated battle with Calvin Racing, got past the Red Bull driver again throughout Sector 2. And I think we're definitely having to look into the strategies, because here's the thing. Strategy wise, we're looking at Mindful Wasp before, but he's gonna lose a couple of positions. We're looking at the V car making the overtake. No, he's not. He's gonna wait. Retirement, and that is our first safety car. So the guys on the medium tires might want to come into the pits to go into hard tires. But as I said before, someone that I was that I was commentating on yesterday, he was on 16 lap old hards and he was on 80% on those hards. So I'm not sure if the hards would last till the end of the race. We've got a drive-through penalty for Mark Querty speeding under the safety car. Things couldn't have gotten worse for the Aston Martin after a very disappointing qualifying. Gets a drive-through penalty during the race, and now we're gonna have to see who's gonna come into the pits. Nobody in the top 4 is coming into the pits. Keeves does come into the pits. Goes from the hards to the mediums possibly. Let's have a quick look. I'm just gonna listen to the live stream too on my phone to see how the quality is. I'm also gonna check my Discord DMs as I've got a message from someone. That was Martin, obviously. Thank you very much, Martin. Keeves goes onto the soft tires. Interestingly enough, he wants to stretch those softs for as long as possible. I'm not sure how long that'll work for, but as we'll be able to see at the end of the race. I'm just going to have a quick listen with the live stream, as I'm obviously not very happy with how my microphone sounds. And sometimes it sounds good, sometimes it sounds bad. I have no idea how to do this. I think I know what the problem is. So what if I do this? And what if I do this? Alright, test. I put the limiter to -11. Alright, I'm just gonna test this, see how this goes. It's a safety car anyway. So we have got time to talk about anything. How's everyone doing tonight? Are you all enjoying your evening? Watching the live stream? Okay, I think I know what the problem is. It's probably the low tones that are too high, so I need to put this to minus 0.5. And now it should be better. Now I can maybe put the output gain back to 16.5. Compressor, let's put that to 13 again. Oh, rain is coming apparently, according to Alex Hawk in the chat. So we're going to be seeing rain later throughout the race. The guys have gone onto the soft tires, so that is a very interesting strategy for a lot of these guys. So they can stretch those softs for quite a bit of time. And as I said before, throughout the qualifying, we never know when when the rain is going to come, obviously. That is my exciting music, you know. When some hey, you're back. I was for quite some time already, Martin. Wasn't I? I think I was, wasn't I? Because I was live streaming still though. I'm not sure. Alright, here we go. We've got green flags already. And hopefully we're going to be having a very interesting race to go here. Still 18 more laps to go, so still plenty of racing. I'm really wondering to see who is going to be winning this race. We've got a lot of weaving throughout the race. Well, throughout the straight. The guys trying to warm up their tires, heat up their tires. And hopefully that'll be enough for these guys to shoot off. And I think Utgard is already doing that. Takes a very... Oh, wait. Is he going already? He's warming up his tires. I think that looked very strange. That looked very strange. It looked like he was speeding up throughout turn 12. Oh, and we've got a 5-second time penalty for Calvin Racing. And he's currently a P6. Not bad at all, but he drops a couple of positions off that. And we're racing again. Here comes Mindful Wasp trying to make the overtake on the Haas driver. Will he be going down the inside? Doesn't look like it. What will Keith be doing as he's on those soft tires, makes the move up the inside. I think Yaz is definitely struggling on these hard tires at the moment. He's just going to get eaten by all those soft tire runners. Oh, and the rain is already dropping. The rain is already dropping in Sector 1. As they're entering Sector 2 at the moment, Calvin Racing with another 3-second time penalty makes the overtake down the inside of Keeves. Keeves is possibly going to make a switchback work. Although Calvin Racing defends the inside line, possibly will make the overtake on MCFC. And the rain is already dropping, so these hard tire runners will definitely be struggling. What will Keeves be doing as he's on those fresh tires? He won't be struggling at all. He will have more grip on the tire on the track than these hard tire runners. So will gain a bit of time coming out of turn 9, and yes indeed he does. sticks to the toe of the Red Bull driver. Will he be going down the inside? A little bit of movement under braking from the Red Bull driver there. As you can see, MCFC who forces him off track. As I think Keeves will try to go down the inside. Doesn't want to risk anything. Galvin Racing will let him go past. As I think DRS is still available. But who out of these two has got the DRS? I think it'll be Keeves, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, DRS has been disabled already. And we're looking at a possible overtake from Mr. Wiggles on gas. Yes, indeed. Down the inside he goes. Oh, and no, Ellie almost goes into the back of the Alpine driver. Oh, and the Red Bull driver takes out Ellie. Cassidy almost takes out Ellie. We're looking at... Oh, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, man, chaos. I have no idea what happened there. Mindful was still out on track. So is Keeves and Mr. Wiggles. But what happened there? People were sliding all over the place. Cassidy making the overtake on Ellie. Or is it Ellie around the outside? Ellie on those fresh medium tires. But so is Cassidy, obviously. Ellie down the inside, and it's getting very slippery here around China. Oh, and Oliver, MCFC, Gaz and Mansell have all gone on to the intermediates. What will Mark Querty be going on? Cassidy retakes P5, almost loses the car, and they're really sliding all over the place. Let's have a quick look what the gap is to the leader, as we want to have a quick look whether those intermediate tire runners are gaining time, and yes, indeed they are. Look at that, Oliver gaining about a tenth every corner. So it's definitely time for those guys in the lead of the race to gain, well, to come into the pits. Keeves on those fresh soft tires. Will he be gaining a position on a Mindful Wasp? Possibly not. Mindful Wasp does go onto the curb a bit too aggressive. Here comes Keeves around the outside. Will not have the DRS. Has to watch out for the slippiness around turn 11. Down the straight they go. And I think Mindful Wasp is a little bit more... has bigger balls, because he went on the throttle a little bit sooner coming out of turn 11. But both of them will come into the pits right now. Mr. Wiggles losing a bit of time, but he's also on those fresh soft tires. So, oh, look at that. Mindful was going really deep. Oh, Keeves sliding all over the place, and he will gain a position off that. Mr. Wiggles on the soft tires is doing a great job. Look at that. Will come into the pits though. Oh, and he takes out the Alpine driver. What is happening here? We've seen it before. Keeves loses a position and Cassidy gains many positions off that. Gets back to P2. Oh, look at that. All of the other guys coming into the pits, and Oliver has gained so much time going on to the intermediates. He's already passed them. Oh, look at that. Oliver with a beautiful strategy. So is MCFC. Mindful Wasp just came out of the pits. I think it's a double stack for the AlphaTauri team. But the top three has now gained many positions. Mansell also on one lap old intermediates. Goes a bit too deep there. I think Cassidy might be able to benefit from that. Almost takes out the Haas driver. And then people were really sliding all over the place throughout the... Oh, and Energy Dan goes onto the mediums. Oh man, what a mistake from either Energy Dan or the pit crew. But this is definitely not something he was hoping for. Let's go back to the interval. Dan's feeling optimistic about the weather on the mediums. Yes, indeed he does. Yes, indeed he does. Cash with a 7-second gap to MCFC. So it's a real... I feel like it's a battle between two drivers for the win of the race. And will this be Oliver's second win of the race, or will it be MCFC's first win of the season, I should say, not of the race? Let's go back to Cassidy, who finds himself with 1 lap fresher intermediates compared to Mansell, but still, I don't think that 1 lap difference will make will make a difference here during the first stages of this race, of this stint, I should say. Yeah, and Energy Dan really has to come into the pits, because he's just losing a tremendous amount of time here through Sector 3. And Sector 3 is not even the technical part of this track, so it's not great. It's not a great strategy from Energy Dan, unfortunately. Oh, and I feel like these guys are going a bit too aggressively onto the curb on the exit of turn 13, so they really need to watch out for track limits, because that is something we haven't seen too often from these guys. Calvin Racing drops back to be at 19. Not sure what happened there between the Red Bull driver and possibly someone else, but he dropped back to P19. Tushkern. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he crashed out. I don't think he got crashed out. It's really that it's down the straight coming out of turn 9, and usually because drivers are losing their car coming out of turn 9, going onto the curb a bit too aggressive. Here comes Keeves making the overtake on Mansell. No, he won't be going for that move yet. Might wait for the perfect moment to make the overtake. It will definitely not be coming out of turn 9. And MCFC has taken the lead of the race. Let's have a quick look with that. Oh, and they're going side by side, coming through turn 11. Oliver down the inside, MCFC around the outside. Who will make the overtake? It seems like it's MCFC taking the lead of the race, and he keeps the lead of the race. DRS will not be enabled. Oliver with possibly a lot of straight line speed. And he takes the lead of the race. Beautifully done by Oliver right there. Keeves now making the overtake on Mansell. Down the inside he goes. Mansell wants to catch that slipstream from the Alpine driver. Let's have a quick look with Mindful Was making the overtake around the outside. Gas. Oh, goes onto the curve a little bit too aggressively. Almost takes out Mindful Was, but just keeps it within the lines. Let's go back to Mansell as he finds himself in a very difficult position. Just got overtaken by Keeves. And he's got a rapid Ellie behind him. Ellie really stepped up her pace at the moment. I feel like she's really... Well, you know what I think? I think she's running a wet tire setup. Or an intermediate tire setup. And that is why she was a little bit slower throughout the race. But that could explain why she's faster throughout the race at the moment. Because she's entered the top 8. Might possibly be looking at the top 7 or the top 6. Depends on whether Mansell can keep up with Keeves. But Ellie really stepping up her game. So you might want to go back to MCFC here in the top 2. Losing a bit of time through sector 2. But I think that might be... Yeah, because of the dirty air maybe. Maybe because of the wet tires. I mean the intermediate tires. I'm not 100% sure, guys. Cassidy caught up to Cass. Cass, not one of the fastest guys, but finds himself in the top 4, and I feel like that is a great accomplishment for the Ferrari driver. I don't think he's got a podium yet, or at least a race win, or he doesn't have a race win. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't think he got a podium either. I'm not gonna say he's gonna get a podium today, but I feel like a P4 is really close to a podium. Let's have a look. Guys, is all the way in P18 in the Drivers' Championship. This would be a great accomplishment for the Ferrari driver, if you ask me. He's able to keep Cassidy behind him, which is... I mean, we haven't seen this performance from the Ferrari driver at all. He did not start last week. He did not start in Japan. He did not start in Brazil, and he's back at it again. He might have done a bit of practice. Hasn't gotten a pole, hasn't gotten a fast lap, hasn't gotten a podium, and hasn't gotten a race win. Cassidy, who does make the overtake around the outside into turn 1. Cass has a 2-second gap to Keeves, which he might be able to keep if he can keep up with Cassidy. Let's go back to the front of the pack as MCFC still finds himself in a difficult position. Ellie might be looking at a move. Down the inside he goes. Here comes Ellie. Oh, goes all the way off track. A little bit too optimistic from the McLaren driver. Does lose the position with that move. And I think Utgars, yeah, he was really looking at a race win today, but just came into the pits 1 lap too late and crashed out someone. No, I think it was Mr. Wiggles, wasn't it? Crashing out someone. Oh, yellow flag throughout sector 1. That is Calvin Racing, unfortunately. Energy Dang going onto the wet tires. Notices that isn't the right tire either. Retires in the pit lane at the moment. Let's go on board again with Mansell. Let's have a quick look at the position changes, as these tires are not giving us any information. Yas gaining 13 positions, MCFC gaining 11 positions. Oliver still in the lead of the race after his pole time, so that is lovely to see. Srivatsa came all the way from P18 or P19 back to P11. He's right behind his teammate. Elliot and Maggi are having a heated battle. Oh, and they're taking out Utkarsh. Utkarsh is once again not the lucky guy in this story. Srivatsa also making the overtake. Down the inside he goes. And I feel like Utkarsh is really unlucky these last couple of races. Currently in P11, dropped 9 positions, put himself in P2 throughout the qualifying, but just couldn't find the pace. Or, I mean, he had the pace, but I think he got overtaken. Also, his strategy didn't really make too much sense coming in this late. Together with some other drivers, Srivatsa down the inside at the moment. Mr. Wiggins might possibly be looking at an overtake on both of those guys. Maybe with Slipstream and ERS, he might be able to make that overtake. Down the straight. Oh, Srivatsa and Utkarsh. Utkarsh down the inside there. Utkarsh down the inside. Srivatsa almost getting overtaken by Mr. Wiggles. And he does get overtaken. Look at that. Mr. Wiggles with a beautiful exit coming out of turn 5, I think that is. But Srivatsa has some more straight line speed and he keeps the position. Yellow flag in sector 2. That is an Alpine driver, Doran. Unfortunately, loses a position to the V-car. Let's go on board with Keeves. He's right behind the Ferrari driver. And Keeves definitely looking to make a move. Look at that. It couldn't be any easier for Keeves. Just making the overtake down the inside of turn 11. A very difficult spot to make the overtake, but he makes it anyway. And I think Gaz is looking to make a move again, but just doesn't have that straight line speed he needs. Utkarsh sticking to the toe of Ellie. Maggi has taken some kind of gap to Ellie, so he shouldn't be worried about Utkarsh. Down the straight, another crash. I think that must be Dorn again. His tires must be overheating. And that is something these guys have to think about. Because if your tires are overheating, you cannot race on the regular racing line, because that means your tires are going to be overheating even more. You really need to find the wet spots on track to cool down your tires. And the annoying thing about wet races is that not many moves will be made. Mainly because the drivers want to keep it consistent. They want to keep it clean, which we haven't seen during these couple of laps. I think it might be wet tire time. Let's have a quick look if anyone else is on the wet tires. Doran and Shaggy. Also Mark QWERTY coming into the pits, possibly to go onto the wet tires. Because it's getting really, really wet out here. And you can see those water drops. I was going to say squirting off the tires, but that doesn't really sound great, does it? Splashing out of the tires is what I should say. And I really want to see whether Doran is going to gain time to the V-car. Let's have a quick look throughout Sector 1. Doesn't seem like he's gaining too much time. Unfortunately, it's not time to come into the pits for the wet tires yet. Maggi caught up to Mansell. Mansell doesn't really have the race he was hoping for. I mean, usually he's consistent, usually he's fast, but today he's just not there. Oliver coming into the pits, so is MCFC. Both drivers coming into the pits for the wet tires. And we saw Doran come into the pits too, but he didn't really gain too much time, did he? Cassidy stays out. He'll probably be going on one lap. Well, extra on the intermediates. Isn't really sliding all over the place, but... Oh, he is sliding all over the place. Let's have a quick look with the tires. Well, with the leaders. Who is Cassidy. And we want to compare those wet tires with... Well, the wet tire runners with Cassidy. So what is Oliver doing? Not really gaining too much time. Might possibly be gaining about a tenth every sector. Yeah, he's really gaining time throughout Sector 2. Throughout Sector 1. I think it isn't a bad strategy from Cassidy, because he found himself somewhere around P5. And he had to try something. He wasn't really gaining too much time. Oh, look at that. He's not really losing time either. Lost about a tenth throughout Sector 2. Now I lost a 10 throughout, a 10 throughout sector 2 too. Yeah, he's really dropping some time now through sector 3. Look at that. Oliver might have come into the pits at the right time, but Cassidy loved the optimism, loved the fact that you want to try some different stuff, and you know, MCFC making the overtake on Ellie and Oliver. Wait, Oliver is losing time, isn't he? No, Ellie is just letting him go through. Around the outside he goes. Cassidy will come into the pits, won't he? Oh, he's sliding all over the place coming out of turn 12. Not great. Not great. Will come into the pits. Has to watch out. Whoa. Cassidy won't come into the pits. Oh man, this is a big mistake from Cassidy. Matt G will come into the pits, go into the hard tires. The wet tires, sorry. The hard tires, look at me. I don't think that's a great idea to going onto the hard tires at the moment. Mindful was puts it in the wall. Oh, and he causes a virtual safety car. Was that on purpose? Is my question. He just parks it on the line at the moment. Will he be causing a full safety car? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Why did he sit still in the middle of the track here? Oh, and it does cause a full safety car. Oh, Mindful was. Oh, I don't think that is allowed, Mindful. I don't think that is allowed. Let's go on an interval. As I'm just gonna have a quick listen to the live stream again. It's a safety car anyway, so like I've got a bit of time. And I want to provide you guys with the best quality, of course. By the way, thanks everyone for who is watching. I really appreciate everyone watching the live stream. You being here, you know, it means something to me. You watching the live stream. You know, I've got 14 watchers at the moment, and it really does something to me because, you know, giving a live stream or commentating on a race with only 1 or 2 watchers, it's great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but at least with 14 watchers, I feel appreciated. You know. With 2 or 1 watcher, I feel like sometimes people are not appreciating the commentary or don't like the commentary, and this really assures me of me being decent. You know, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it doesn't have to give me the feeling that I'm great. It just has to give me the feeling that I'm decent, that I'm better than bad. You know. Both Cassidy and Utkarsh will come into the pits, so will MCFC. MCFC just threw away a race win. MCFC just threw away a race win. Or does he have a broken front wing? It might possibly be that. Keeps going like this, they'll be swimming soon. Alex Hawk in the chat, highlight of the week, bro. What do you mean, Alex? What do you mean? Oh, and a double stack too from Williams. And... no way! MCFC goes into the intermediates! Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Oh, no way. Oh, MCFC. What is this strategy, bro? Oh, man. He does seem to have pace, though. He does seem to have pace. What is happening? Ellie retires from the session in the pit lane. Why did she do that? Cassidy finds himself in P2 at the moment because he stayed out for 1 more lap. That is insane if you ask me. You know, someone causes a safety car and all of a sudden... oh, thank you, Alex. Appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it. Good not to race tonight, but was always going to watch the race. Thank you very much, Willie. Thank you very much. Do you mind me telling me what your PSN name is? Then I can have a quick look. Who you are, because right now I'm not really much with the name Willie. My dad is called Willie too. Pretty coincidental. I'll have a quick look with the standings, mate. I'll have a quick look if I can find your name. Or anything that sounds like Willy. Mansell Keeves, no, mine was Ukars, Oliver, the V-Car, Doran, Magi, Wiggles, Tushkern, MCFC, Ellie, Alex Hawk, Shaggy. Is Shaggy here? Oh yeah, Shaggy is here. Gox? Oh, I think that might be Gox. Is it you, Gox? I think it is Gox, isn't it? Alex, you should be racing, by the way, not typing under the live stream. Look on track, not on stream, mate. I know you're listening, which is already enough for me. Oh man, and I'm feeling tired, and I don't know. I've just installed a new Wi-Fi system. Billy G. Oh, Billy G. You're racing for AlphaTauri, aren't you? Wait, no, that couldn't be true. What car were you racing in last week? I don't know. MCFC on the intermediates, man. Oh man, I don't know what's happening with MCFC. Why did he even go onto the intermediates? Maybe, you know, it would be insane if he gains an amazing amount of time on the top 5. That would be insane. Oh, down the inside he goes. Wants to race under the safety car. I don't think that's allowed. Ellie, I hate this game. Amazing. Oh, Ellie. What? But you came into the pits and you retired yourself, didn't you, Ellie? You could have just come into the pits, put on a new front wing. I don't even know what happened with you. Did you crash out? Shaggy also goes on to the intermediates. Man, these people are really brave. No, it was in McLaren last 2 weeks. Oh, right. Why is Gox actually not racing anymore? Because now we've got Srivatsa in the McLaren. I know Ellie has been there the last couple of weeks, so it must have been Gox's position. I mean, not that you're worth less, Willie, don't worry. I'm just wondering, because he was there for the last couple of weeks. I mean, not the last couple of weeks, but the weeks before. I don't know. Doesn't matter too much. I think we'll be racing again. 23 laps out of the 28. So we've got about 6 more laps to go. Although I don't think the safety car will come in. So I think I might take a little break here. Yes, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go to the PP room and I'll be right back. Hello guys, I'm back. Just in time for the safety car to come into the pits. I'm just gonna have a quick listen with the live stream here. Wait, hold up. We have got no ones in McLaren last 2 weeks. Bro, I got a drive through because it glitched between me and Wiggles or Matt G. And then I went into the pits and called me in. So I would have to go. Oh man, that is really unfortunate, Ellie. Better luck next time. Better luck next time. Just a reserve driver anyway. A new season coming soon. Willie, get yourself signed up for full time when signups are out this week. Yes, do that because the third division is coming. So do that, Willie. Do that. Adams, hey Thomas, MCFC could be an inspired move onto Inters of or a complete fuck up. Indeed. It's looking... No, I was gonna say it's looking less wet here, but it's not really looking less wet here. Let's have a great... Oh man, I can't see shit here. Utkarsh making the overtake. Down the inside he goes. Will it be an overtake for Utkarsh? Doesn't look like it. He's right up his ass though. Has to watch out. Keeps really losing some time to Cassidy at the moment. The guys, I will do Speed Force Racing. All right, mate. Oh, Keeps going really deep there. Is MCFC actually gaining time on the intermediates? I don't feel like he is. I don't feel like it is. Oh, look at that. Oh, late on the brakes. Takes out the Alfa Romeo driver. Takes out someone else. I think that was Mansell. Oh, man. Oh, the intermediates were never going to work. Oh, man. Oh, man. Jesus. MCFC drops back to P16. Possibly P17. There comes Mansell sliding all over the place. Cassidy losing the toe of Oliver at the moment. Oh man, what a chaotic end of this race. It was never gonna work, let's be honest. It's pouring liters of water out of the sky. It was never gonna work. I think that was a fuck up than Adams. Yes, indeed. Matt G with a surprising P5 and his teammate right behind him, Srivatsa, has caught up quite a bit. So that is lovely to see from the McLaren driver. Calvin Racing with a surprising P11. P12 actually. Doran loses another position, goes onto the grass, I think. Lost a bit of time coming out of turn 11. Mindful was making the overtake. They're going side by side. Here comes Alex Hogg around the outside. Will it be an overtake? Doesn't look like it. Maybe a switchback from the Norwegian driver. It doesn't look like it. Has to patiently wait. A Mindful Wasp retakes P10. And gets into the top 10 at the moment. Utkarsh possibly with an overtake. Here he comes. Right on the tail of Keeves. And we will be seeing these two drivers a battle for the rest of the race. There's still 3.5 more laps to go. Cassidy caught up to Oliver again. One time he's dropping out of the 1 second. One time he's within the 1 second. So the guys don't have DRS anyway. So shouldn't really be worried about that anyway. Mansell retired from the session in the pit lane. And I think when the drivers are 3 laps before the race end, they can retire in the pit lane to still get the full points. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong indeed. I'm not sure. I'm streaming 5 races a week. 5 different leagues. And all of these 5 leagues have different point systems. It's doing my head in, guys. It's doing my head in. Oh, Woodcar's almost losing the car. Goes onto the curb a little bit too aggressive. And look at that, Matt G with the pace. Matt G with the pace. He's got the pace. It is the Ferrari driver currently in P5. He's got the pace. Bang, bang. And he's looking at a top 3 position. But he needs to gain some more time. Oh, Utkarsh might be looking at a move. Oh, no, he won't be. Alex Hogg and Calvin Racing have a heated battle. Alex Hogg retakes P11. Calvin Racing with a lot of straight line speed. Retakes the slipstream. Up his ass. Here comes Calvin Racing. Oh, look at that. Almost takes out Alex Hogg. Down the straight they go. Calvin Racing with the inside line. Pushes Alex Hogg a little bit wide. A little bit of a wheel tap there. Mansell does leave the session. Oh, Alex Hogg has to watch out that he doesn't lose the car. Gas now loses the position to Srivatsa, but I think he wants to retake that position. Oh no, never mind. Was it Mr. Wiggles? It was indeed Mr. Wiggles. Look at that. And the Alfa Romeo boys have found themselves in the top 10 again after a very disappointing first half of this race, but the rain can do anything. Haha, what the fuck? Wait, hold up. Haha, what the fuck, Thomas? Don't give up the day job. No idea what you mean, Adams. No idea what you mean. People love me for my singing, and I'm gonna keep singing till I die. Till I die. Yeah. I feel like a boy, like a guy, a singer from a boys band, you know? Ooh, ooh. Utkarsh now currently in P4, right behind Keeps. And here's the thing with Utkarsh. He's losing the car so oftenly that he cannot keep up with Keeps. That's just it. He's up his ass. And then he takes the curb a bit too much, loses the car, and drops back out of the 810s. And then he catches back up, does the same mistake, and drops back to 8 to 910s. It's not great. You're singing, man. That's awful. That's awful. It's because of the microphone, mate. Here comes Gas around the outside. The V-car will... Oh, no, it's not the V-car. It is Mr. Wiggles. Yes, making the overtake again. Side by side they go. I feel like Mr. Wiggles has more straight line speed, and yes, indeed he does. Retakes P7, and maybe if Mr. Wiggles can keep up Gas for as long as possible, the V-car might possibly be able to make that overtake on Gas. Gas really has to push. Harsh but true. No, well, yeah, fair enough, guys. Fair enough. I'll stop singing. I don't think it's worth it for me to sing for you guys. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh. Utkarsh now in P4. We have to watch out for Utkarsh and him not binning it again. The top two is having a heated battle too. There's still 1.5 more laps to go. We're heading into the last couple of laps of this race. And I feel like Oliver is gonna pull a P1 to P1 move here. He qualified in P1, is possibly gonna finish the race in P1 too. Although Cassidy has got a lot of pace, loses the car a little bit. Oliver onto the curb, gets more speed coming out of turn 9, which you definitely need throughout the rainy race. And I feel it mix the grip up with this track and conditions. Yes, 100%. I mean, I wouldn't think that Srivatsa, Mad G, Mr. Wiggles, Gas, the V-car were all gonna be in the top 10. Mindful Wasp in P10, surprising result. Calvin Racing in P12, surprising result. Mansell in P17, surprising result. Energy Dan in P19, not a very surprising result because he didn't do a great qualifying either. The V-car is caught up to Gas. Down the straight they go. Will he be able to make that overtake? Might have a little bit more straight line speed, but this is the annoying thing that I find with the V-car. He really needs to get that slipstream from Gas down the straight, because he was just driving not behind Gas, and you really need that slipstream down the straight. Oh, almost takes out the Ferrari driver. Side by side they go, but I feel like Gas will retake P8. And you're heading into the last lap of this race. Utkarsh got up to Keeves again. Will he be making the same mistake? No, he won't. Down the inside he goes. Will Keeves make switchback work? I think he will. No, he won't. Utkarsh retake at P3. And Mr. Wiggles retake at P6. Oh, Srivatsa almost lost the car. Right the outside goes Mr. Wiggles. Srivatsa now is the outside line into turn 2. And, oh, I thought it was going off track, but it wasn't going off track. Mr. Wiggles retakes P6. The guys at the back are having a heated battle too. The guys and the V-car. So, you know, this is lovely to see both the Alfa Romeos battle with someone else rather than battle with each other. Because that is something we've seen over the last couple of weeks. The Alfa Romeo boys battling with each other rather than battling with other guys. And, you know, it's something new. It's something different. They're once again very close to each other. But you're going to be scoring. Oh, no way. The V-car. I think Gas just lost his car and went in front of the V-car's line there. I don't think it really took him out. Mindful Wasp now retaking P9. Oh, yes. Oh, man. You really shouldn't have done that. You really seem to be faster at the moment. Shaggy gaining a bit of time to Dorn. Might want to go on board to lead the race. Keeves. Oh, Keeves retaking P3. He doesn't have the DRS though. A lot of DRS will be drained by Utkarsh. So we might want to go to the lead of the race. Here comes Utkarsh. Down the straight he goes. Down the straight he goes. Will Keeves give up? Will Keeves give up? He won't give up. Around the outside he goes. Keeves. Oh man, and I think Utkarsh is forcing him a little bit wider than he should. Oh, side by side they go through turn 13, and I think it will be Utkarsh taking the podium here. It still depends on whether he's going to be getting a penalty, of course, for, possible collisions he had. Yeah, side by side with Mindful Wasp. Maybe a switchback. Oh, goes off track, has to watch out. Oh, no, it's not close. It's not close. Mindful Wasp takes P9. Yes, takes P10. Dorn might possibly be taking P12. And yes, indeed he does. Gains the position of Calvin Racing due to penalties. And also Shaggy gains a position due to penalties. Mark Querty and Alex Hawker having a heated battle. Oliver taking the race win. Congratulations to you, Oliver, in the chat. I know you're there. CJB Historic Racing in the chat says, a joke. Not 100% sure what happened there. Driver of the day is Gas. Congratulations to you, Gas. Great race to you. A bit unfortunate about what happened before, but I guess it is what it is. Things cannot always go your way. And now all of a sudden it's sunny again in China. Very interesting. Alright, I need to remove my camera, of course. Let's have a quick look. So here we go. A race win goes to Oliver. He went from P1 to P1. Cassidy from P7 to P2, so not bad at all. Further, we've got Utkarsh in P3, Keeves in P4, and Magi in P5. Further, we've got Mr. Wiggles, Srivatsa, the V-Car, Mindful Wasp, Yes, Dorn, Shaggy, Calvin Racing, MCFC, Querty, Alex Hawk, Mansell, Ellie, Energy Dan, and Tashkern. The last 4 drivers have DNF'd, unfortunately. But that is gonna be your Chinese Grand Prix here tonight. It's the 22nd of April, 2024. We were in season 15, round 16 of the Chinese Grand Prix. My name is Phoebe Thomas. Make sure to check out previous live streams if you haven't already. And all I'm going to be saying to you tonight is good night, and I wish you a pleasant evening. See you guys next week, and peace out.